Hi, everybody. This is Craig with Out on Film, and today I am thrilled to be joined for a conversation with the director and writer of Lie With Me, Olivier Peyon. Olivier, welcome to Out on Film.
Thank you.
So, Lie With Me is one of our favorite films of the festival. So I'm really glad that you're here to talk to us about it before we screen it. Um, Tell us a little bit about how you came to tell this story. This is an adaptation of the novel by Philippe Besson. So tell us a little bit about how it is that you came to want to adapt
Yeah,
the screen.
yeah. It was a the novel was a huge success in France. Philippe Besson was surprised, in fact, because it's autobiographical. It's his story, was he was when he was young, and he couldn't believe that this gay love story between two teenagers could touch so many people in France. And I think it's because there is also something really universal in the book. It's not just the love story. Of course, the love story is really important, but it's also about lies, about to make choice in life and things like that. So it's really universal. And when I read the novel, it was just before the release. The publisher, they used to send a novel to producer before they are released. And so a producer called me and told me, "Oh, you have to read this. I think you can love it." So I read it, and I love it. I cried a lot at the end. And when I met Philippe Besson for the first time, because I didn't know him, I told him because the novel, there's a huge part of the novel is about the teenage love story. But what I thought, the thing that was really original to me was the encounter between the writer and the son of his first love.
Right.
And I was really moved by that. And in fact, and I was really touched by this son who suffered so much from the lies of his father, you know what I mean? And in fact, I wanted to tell the story of this guy, of this son. I thought it was really, as I said, original. So when I met Philippe Besson, I told him, you made a novel about the past, about the souvenir, and I would want to develop the present part. And he loved the idea. And so,
Well, because it's kind of what struck me about the film as well, that you have a son who is on a journey to discover who his father was, to know him thoroughly, and then you have Stefan, who is looking to what happened to his first love. They're
exactly.
both searching for what happened to this one man, and how they
Exactly.
got together is really quite beautiful.
Yes, and it is in the novel. I didn't invent it, but yes, it's really really beautiful because both suffered so much. For the son, he suffered from the silence and the lies of his father, and for the writer Stefan, he suffered because his first love suddenly disappeared. And because they each of them have the pieces of the puzzle. And when they meet and they talk, and so they can understand, and at the end they can go on, I imagine they can go on with their life, you know what I mean? And it was really the of course it's tragic. There is something tragic. I'm not going to tell the story, but there is something tragic about this love story. But for me, it's also a kind of happy end between the writer and the son, because they can go on with their life. Suddenly they stop. The novel and the movie is also about the family lies. You know what I mean? And from generation to another generation, it starts again, and they stop it. Because they talk. Philippe Besson told me, I made a novel about silence and you made a movie about words. You know what I mean? And I was lucky because he loved the idea. But so, yes, this encounter is really about that.
Because the literal translation from the French for the movie is "stop with these lies."
exactly. In fact, in French, because we see that in the movie, it's a kind of childish expression. You know what I mean? It's her mother. It's his mother to the writer who told him when he was young because he was always inventing. He was always inventing stories, and she said, "Stop with your lies." And that's the title is about that. But because I decided to keep the title, I work a lot about the notion of lies, you know. In fact, at one point, I really love the American title, Lie With Me, really beautiful.
Yeah.
But in French, when you translate it, you don't have the double meaning, you know
Okay.
what I mean? But
Yeah.
at one point, I chose the American title, the English title, then I go back to the origin, the first one because the novel was a huge success. So I would have been so crazy to change the title. But I decided because I kept the title, I decided to work more in a sense about the notion of lies. You know, everybody lied to everybody in the movie.
Right.
I don't want to say everything about the story, but yes,
Well, and it's funny you say it's a movie. It's a story about silence and a movie about words. One of the things I really kind of liked, kind of the undercurrent going through it, is he's trying to write this speech that he's
yeah,
about to give, and he's just not doing
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And I love the fact that he can, or that he won't, or that he
Both,
or
you
both.
know, yeah, yeah. But you know, because when you arrive, in fact, he doesn't know what he's doing there. You know, it's
Right.
been 35 years. He didn't want to come back because of this first love, of this traumatism, we say. And of course, yeah. And but the speech scene and stuff is not in the novel. I
Okay.
invented.
Um, so one of the things, and I wanted you to be able to give credit to your cinematographer, your DP, who this is beautifully filmed in the French countryside, or I mean, it's beautifully.
I will tell him.
Um, yeah, so I mean, credit. It's just gorgeous.
Ah, thank you. Thank you. In fact, uh, it's because we were with Martin Ritt, which is the name of the OP. I wanted for the flashback because there is some flashback in the movies to tell the love story when they were young, and because this flashback are the memories of Stefan, the Stefan memories, you know. I wanted it to be really nostalgic, melancholic, but also very sunny. You know, I like these golden colors. You know what I mean? So we shot the first part. We shot the film in two parts. You know, at the end of the summer for the flashback,
Okay.
and the present part we shot it in November and December. So the present part is colder. You know what I mean? And we played on that difference and no, thank you. And we also were lucky because the film takes place in Cognac, you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
the city at NAC, you know, the famous brand of cognac. Because few years ago, I made a documentary about NAC. And so I knew them quite well, you know, and the action in the novel it takes place in a cafe, you know, so it's not really cinematographic. So I had to find a context, you know, to find kind of action, and I decided to put the action in the NSC. So they gave us the authorization to shoot in their historic places, you know what I mean? And we were lucky, and it was really beautiful places. And so I was also lucky. So it helps us a lot about the image and about all that stuff.
And talk to us a little bit about casting. Your two leads are quite good. Victor Belmondo comes from pretty famous acting.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Victor Belmondo is the, how do you say that, the grandchild of Jean-Paul Belmondo, and he's 30 now, but he was working so hard in a short movie. You know, he had a good relation with his grandfather. His grandfather is dead 2 years ago, and he had a really great relation with him, but he didn't want his grandfather help him. You know what I mean? And so he made some, how do you say that, internship on
Okay, yes,
shooting.
interns, yes.
He learned every job on a set, and he was playing in theater, and step by step, you know, he constructed, he built his career. And I was lucky because this movie, my movie, was, you know, it's like all friends discovered him. You know what I mean? And when I chose him, because I was looking for a young guy, straight. I don't ask the sexuality of my actors, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
The character, we had to feel that the character of the son was a modern one. You know, for him, it's not a problem that his father was gay. The
right.
problem that his father was ashamed of himself,
Yeah,
was ashamed, was lying to everybody and to himself, and that's why the son wants to understand. But I needed this kind of modern character. You know, he's straight, but okay, it's okay to be
right,
gay. It's not a problem for him. It's a new generation, and Victor Belmondo was really had this in him, you know what I mean? And we made some screen test, and he was so good. So I chose him. And about the cast, there was also the two young actors, Jeremy and Julian. And because there was some sex scenes, you know, so it was not easy, and they had to feel comfortable with that. And they were 20 at that time, and in fact, they were really great at the screen test, you know, but there was other young actors that was really
right,
great. But when I put them together, you know, because when you're making the casting, you work with pair or duet.
right.
And when I put them together, it was like, phew, it was so obvious. I was with my casting director, she's a woman, and we were just like that. Wow, oh my God. You know, there was some, and now they are the best friend in the
Right.
world. And they say, and between the cast, between the moment I showed them and between the moment of the shooting, 4 months were passed, we say that. And there were 4 months. So they became friends. They went to drink beer. You know what I mean? And they say that it was easier for them about the sex scene. And we talked a lot all together. And finally, it was great.
Yeah. Um, so one of the things that, as you say, like with Victor and the generation, and that Lucas really doesn't care that his dad was gay. He just wants to know who he was.
Exactly.
And for Stefan, he just wants to know what happened. Kind of,
E-
and so in the end, it does become about place, your place in the world, your place. Do you want to be in this place that you grew up in and this happened? And about kind of family and your first love, but ultimately kind of like about healing. The place becomes a different place, your relationships become different, but a lot of this, it's about first love, it's about family, but it's a lot about how these two men heal around the
Exactly.
lives and the life and the love of this one man, their father and their lover.
Exactly. And that's the thing who that I love so much in the novel. You know, it's of course there is drama, of course there is thing, but at the end it's about healing. And I think the novel gave strength to
Mhm.
people, to readers, and I hope my movie too. You know, it's of course about the choice to be gay, to have the bravery, the courage to be gay, but it's also about to have the courage to choose your own life. You know, it can be, for example, for your job. You know
Right.
what I mean? Sometimes you have a job and you get bored, but you need money and you are afraid to take risk. And it's about that okay, you have to take risk to be happy.
And as you think about it, I always think that you go through a project, you live with this for so long, it goes out into the world, but a part of this art will always stay with you. What about this story and this project will always stay with you?
Because for so many reasons. Because because I put really personal things in this. So about my personal life, the movie talks about me, but also I was really moved by the shooting. You know, all these five actors were so great, and all the crew. It is my sixth film, feature film, and okay, it's always a pleasure for me to shoot. But this time, I don't know why there was something special. Perhaps because it's autobiographical, so we felt responsible for that. But also because I think for the actors, for example, they were really all different. The career with a very different career, but they wanted so hard to do this movie for so many reasons. So the shooting was so intense but also joyful, you know what I mean? It was yes, one of my best shooting memories. So I also think that's why I will always have, I will always love you, I will have it in in my heart. And now I'm lucky because the movie was released in France last February, more than 6 months ago. But now we are really lucky because it's all over the world. We sell the movie in more than 20 countries, and it's a lot. After the COVID, it was a
Right,
disaster.
right.
So and because, for example, I'm talking with you now, the movie has its own life and who lasts. And yes, for us, it's really moving.
That's excellent. Well, we are thrilled that Lie With Me is coming or is in the States now, making the festival circuit. Um, so you're playing here with us at Out on Film in Atlanta and other festivals throughout the fall. So there are plenty of opportunities for people to watch this.
Yes, and I think I don't have the exact day, but there is a US release planned. I think it's at the end of November in
Okay,
few theaters. Yes, then in VOD after.
excellent. So, congratulations on the success of the film. We are very excited that Lie With Me is screening and out on film,
Thank
both
you.
theater and a limited run in the virtual theater. So, Olivier Peyon, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk with all
No,
of us at Out on Film.
thank you so much. Thank you so
And,
much.
and thank you, everybody, for joining us for this conversation with Out on Film. And we will see you at the movies.
Thank you. Bye.